Okay. So the red color arrow places are having phosphodiester bond. Can you identify the place where the phosphodiester bond comes? Okay, phosphodiester bond comes the place. Okay. Once you go little detail to this diagram, my children, here this is going to be the first carbon of this nucleotide. This is the second carbon. This is the third carbon. This is the fourth carbon. This is the fifth carbon of the sugar. The fifth carbon of the sugar is connected to the phosphate group. Understood? The fifth carbon of the sugar is connected to the phosphate group. If we want, I can make a small dot here and mark that one as the what? The fifth carbon. The fifth carbon is connected to the phosphate group. Once you come again, here is the first carbon. Here is the second carbon. The second carbon. Here is the third carbon. Here is the fourth carbon. And here is the fifth carbon. Right? So, this is the phosphodiester bond, right? Do you agree? It is connected, it is connecting the third carbon and the fifth carbon through the phosphate group. It is connecting the third carbon and the fifth carbon through the phosphate group. So, the phosphodiester bond is created always between the third carbon and the fifth carbon. Are you clear? The phosphodiester bond is created between the third carbon and the fifth carbon. Don't say, sir, phosphorus is there in the middle. No, yes, it is through the phosphorus. But carbon-wise, one nucleotide's third carbon, another nucleotide's fifth carbon are involving in making this phosphodiester bond. Shamla Marzouk, Shamna Rafaidin, how about you people? Right. Here, my children, you can see in this place, phosphate and sugar are repeatedly getting connected. Sugar, then phosphate, then sugar, then phosphate, then sugar, then phosphate. Am I right? Right. And this component is called by the name sugar phosphate, sugar phosphate backbone. Sugar phosphate backbone. Right? The chain is created by the sugar phosphate components, and they make the sugar phosphate backbone. Are you clear? Have you marked the sugar phosphate backbone? Have you marked the sugar phosphate backbone? Right. My children, this is a chain, correct? This is a chain. Again, imagine it like a chain. In this chain, I'm taking only the left side chain. In that chain is a linear chain. Look at your diagram. In this end, now once you connect and go, in one level, in one stage, it will stop now. Okay? In that finishing place, which carbon will be free without bonding? Which carbon will be free without bonding? Look at the left diagram and tell me which carbon in the top staying without bonding. In sugar phosphate backbone making, only third carbon and fifth carbon involved. Am I right? In sugar phosphate backbone making, third carbon and fifth carbon involved. My question here is, in this end, which carbon is free without bonding? Which carbon is free? Solution. I have placed the circle around the phosphate. The carbon in it, is it connecting to another nucleotide above? So it is not getting connected to a nucleotide above mean it is free. It is not bonding mean it is free. So which carbon is free in that end solution? Fifth carbon. So solution, we call that end by the word 5' end. Understood? How do you call it? 5' end. We mark a prime mark. Okay. Similarly, once you come to the opposite end, in this end, who is there without making a bond? Which carbon? Which carbon? Is it fifth carbon again? Is it fifth carbon again? Zikra. It is the third carbon. Then how can you call this end? How can you call this end? 3' end. It is 3' end. Okay. So in a sugar phosphate backbone, one end will be 5' end and one end will be 3' end. Agree? Okay. Now take this sugar phosphate portion. Here I am marking it as another chain there. In this chain, what end is this and what end is this? First of all, go for the upper end. What end is this? 3' end or 5' end? It is the upper one is 3' end. The bottom one 5' end. So can you understand these two chains are connected in the opposite directions. 5' end is one's 5' end and other one's 3' end are parallel. One's 3' end and other one's 5' end are parallel. Shamla Marzuk? Good. And this nature is called anti-parallel nature. Anti-parallel. We use that word, my children. Anti-parallel. Okay. So it's a helical structure, two chains. The two chains are arranged anti-parallelly. If one chain is in 3', 5' direction, other chain is in 5', 3' direction. Clear? Good. Now let's come to this center part. In the center part, okay, you can see center part is occupied by nitrogenous bases. Nitrogenous bases occupy the center part. In that, nitrogenous bases are occurring in pairs. Adenine is pairing with thymine. Cytosine is pairing with guanine. Same thing repeat in the following pairs also. Am I right? So always adenine's pair is whom? Always adenine's pair is whom? Shamla Marzuk? Thymine. Similarly, always guanine's pair is whom? Cytosine. Cytosine. Okay. Look at the diagram. Between adenine and thymine, dot lines are marked to represent hydrogen bonds. The dot lines are indicating whom? The dot lines are indicating whom? Hydrogen bonds. Between adenine and guanine, adenine and thymine, how many hydrogen bonds are present? Shamla Marzuk? Oh my God. 14. You are counting the dots. ஐயையோ, two. Okay. Between guanine and cytosine, how many hydrogen bonds are present? That is Tilausan. How many hydrogen bonds between guanine and cytosine, Tilausan? Well, see the diagram, Tilausan. Between guanine, G and C, guanine and cytosine. Okay. Now, you know which nitrogen bases are called purines, right? You know which nitrogen bases are called purines. Okay. Here, how many purines are there? Purines, totally purines. Zikra, careful. How many purines are there? Good. How many pyrimidines are there? Good. If I tell always a pyrimidine is the pair of a purine, is it correct? Always a purine is the pair of a pyrimidine. Is that correct? If you divide the number of purines by number of pyrimidines, sorry, no need that. If I tell number of purines and number of pyrimidines are equal in number in a DNA molecule, will you agree? Good. In a DNA molecule, if there are 20% adenine bases, what could be the percentage of thymine bases? In a DNA molecule, if there are 20% adenine bases, what could be the percentage of thymine bases? 20%. Why? How many adenine there? That many thymine there. If you take adenine's percentage and thymine's percentage, how much the total? How much the total? 40%. In 100%, if you remove the 40%, 60% will remain. That 60% belongs to whom? Guanine and cytosine. Do you agree guanine and cytosine are equal in number? If so, what could be the percentage of guanine? these kind of questions can come in the exam. Understood? Good. So, I have explained you regarding the DNA molecule. The notice given to you in page number 33. Even the base pairing rule are given to you. Go through the notes in page number 33 and tell me if is there anything that you want to clarify other than what I explained to you. Is everything clear? Children, you don't need to know between whom and whom the hydrogen bonds are created. I mean, here it shows the H and O or N and H. It is general. Hydrogen bond will be generally between, if you in chemistry also, your teacher will teach you that. Okay. Hydrogen bonds will be between O and H. O of one molecule and H of another molecule. Or otherwise, N of one molecule and H of another molecule. Or otherwise, F of one molecule and H of one molecule. Those are the choices. So, hydrogen bond mean only these three can be possible. Hydrogen bond is created between oxygen atom and hydrogen atom, or nitrogen atom and hydrogen atom, or fluorine atom and hydrogen atom. Here fluorine is not there. So coming oxygen and hydrogen, nitrogen and hydrogen. That's all. Okay. Other than that, you don't need to memorize these diagrams. So those things are not there in your syllabus. Just to understand. Okay. Everything is in your lesson. Everything in your lesson are not for your memory. Okay. You should keep your memory. Okay. For lots of practices, not for all the garbage things inside the mind. Then the mind will become a garbage bin. Okay, even this is okay. Only one thing I have to tell you, in a double helix, one complete turn, one turn. Now see, this is a single turn. Okay, this is a single turn. In the single turn, there will be 10 pairs of nitrogenous bases. That is, your book tells that one. In one single turn, there will be 10 pairs of nitrogenous bases. Are you clear? Okay. That's not a bigger thing then. Right. What are the functions of DNA? DNA stores genetic information as the sequence of nitrogen bases. Okay. Now, in your lower grades even, you would have studied it. What is a gene? What is a gene? What is there in a gene? Okay. A gene contains nitrogen base sequence. For an example, nitrogen base sequence of insulin gene. I'm just searching for this. If available, great. Here, it will take a longer time for you to read this one. Wait. This many bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, cytosine, adenine, guanine, adenine, cytosine, cytosine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, adenine, thymine, like that. 1381 nitrogenous bases, okay, together makes the single insulin gene. Okay, it is the insulin gene in this world at the moment whose nitrogen base sequence has been completely found. That's why I selected the insulin gene. If one letter, now see here, here there is, I think it's little blur, but can you see the letters? Can you see the letters? Okay, just an idea. Here, cytosine and thymine are there. Here, cytosine and thymine are there. Okay. In this place, these two letters are there. What is it? Cytosine and thymine are there. If this cytosine thymine accidentally changes to thymine cytosine, it can happen, then insulin's quality will be lost. It is called mutation. Have you heard about mutation? Right? So, we are getting genes from the parents. Am I right? We are getting genes from the parents. Genes mean a set of nitrogen bases placed in a particular order. So father gave us a gene name. Father gave us a particular nitrogen base order. That order is very important to decide the character. If the order changes, what will happen? What will happen? Mutation. That means the character also will change. If the order changes, the character mutation means the change in the sequence creating a new character. For an example, instead of 5 fingers, if a person gets 6 fingers, it is mutation. Right? So due to mutation, the characters will change. New characters will appear. Such appearing new characters can be beneficial characters or non-beneficial characters. That depends. Okay. Anyway, new characters will appear. That is confirmed. Are you clear? So can you get a clear idea regarding the gene? Can you get the idea that gene is a sequence of nitrogenous bases? So we got our genes from our parents. It is stored in our cells. We are developing characters using those genes. In reproduction, those genes are moving from our body to our children. We got those genes from our parents. Our children get those genes from us. So our children can represent the grandfather, the grandmother. Our children can represent the grandfather or the grandmother, because our parent genes they are in our body. Okay. Our parental genes are in our body, right? Sometimes this portion can get disconnected, but don't worry about it. Okay, here there's no power. Halfway the power got, but I have already made arrangements. Rafa, இந்த ரவுட்டர் அடிக்கிற இடத்துல தான் இந்த சார்ஜுக்கு போட்டிக்கிறேன் டொங்குல எடுத்துட்டோம். Okay. So, hope you can get the idea. DNA is storing genetic information as the sequence of nitrogen bases, and it is transmitted from one generation to next generation. Okay. Okay, now okay. The second thing it is stores the genetic code for protein synthesis. Right? Actually, now for an example, say there is a gene for our eye color. Gene for what is it? Eye color. Just an example. If there is a gene for eye color, in that gene there will be a nitrogen base sequence for eye color. Am I right? If there is a gene for eye color, there will be a nitrogen base sequence for eye color. Right? This nitrogen base sequence will be copied, remember, copied to an RNA. That is, that RNA is called mRNA. Later, I will explain you what is mRNA. Now, it is copied to, okay, mRNA. I'm explaining you here how the eye color develops in us. There is a gene for eye color. In the gene, there is a nitrogen base sequence for eye color that is copied to nitrogen base sequence for eye color in mRNA. Using this mRNA, later you will study how. At the moment, just understand it. Okay. A protein will be synthesized. Who will be synthesized? A protein will be synthesized. This protein develops the eye color. This protein develops the, what's it? Eye color. So the component that directly develops the eye color is the protein. If the protein is not made, will the eye color develop? If the protein is not made, will the eye color develop? No. If the mRNA doesn't have the nitrogen base sequence, will protein develop? If DNA is absent for the mRNA making, will the mRNA develop? So it is clear DNA is responsible for the synthesis of protein. It provides the nitrogen base sequence, that is what we call by the name genetic code. Okay, genetic code. It provides the nitrogen base sequence needed to make the protein. Are you clear? Good. You can mark this one down and keep. Completed. Completed. Okay. Once you come to the fourth one, okay, stores genetic code for protein synthesis, provide code for protein synthesis, both of them are telling the same idea. Okay. Fourth point, it says, thus it controls all cellular activities. Cellular activities are okay, conducted by enzymes. Enzymes are mostly proteins. Now take the connection. Enzymes are mostly proteins. Now take the connection, right? If the DNA produces mRNA only, mRNA will produce the protein. That means the enzyme. If the enzyme is made only, the cellular activity will be conducted. Otherwise, cellular activity will not be conducted. You know the people who are albinos. You know the people who are albinos? Albinism, albinos. The people who appear in white color but Sri Lankans. Right? Do you know the albinos? They are albinos because in their body a single enzyme is missing. One enzyme is missing. Because that enzyme is missing, they face that fate. Albinos are highly susceptible to blood cancer. Albinos are highly susceptible to blood cancer. One enzyme. Why they miss that enzyme? Because the gene for that enzyme has a wrong nitrogen base sequence. Because it has a wrong nitrogen base sequence, okay, what it is coming as protein is not that enzyme. Understood? There is a gene. It has a nitrogen base sequence. It is encoded. An mRNA coming, a protein coming, but that protein is not this enzyme. What we want for melanin production in the body. Because melanin production stops in their body, they are getting the problem called albinism. So, like this, every cellular activity, whatever the activity the cell does, all those cellular activities are conducted by enzymes. Those enzymes are made by the coding of DNA. So without DNA, no enzyme. Without enzyme, no cellular activities. So the final decision is without DNA, no cellular activities. Clear? Okay. Electricity came. Amy Harakan, they cut the power, make problems. I'm carrying the laptop here and there. हरेट क्लास खत्म कर करंट कट कर റഫ ആയില്ല തേവല 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 Okay. The next quality, it means the primary structure of chromosome. Okay, remember every chromosome, okay, every chromosome has a single DNA. Every chromosome has a single DNA, one DNA, but the DNA will be nearly 2 meters long compared to a cell size. DNA size is about 150,000 times bigger. One chromosome has one DNA only. The DNA size is nearly 2 meters. Okay, the DNA size is nearly 2 meters. Right? Remember, in making the chromosome, in addition to DNA, certain proteins also can involve. Some proteins also involved in making the structure of a chromosome. That's why the fifth point says primary structure, main component of chromosome is DNA. So you should not think DNA is alone making the chromosome. DNA is the main component of chromosome. In addition to DNA, there will be certain proteins also making the chromosome. I think the word chromosome is a very familiar word to you. Okay. Last point, self-replication of DNA. DNA is the only biological molecule that can make its own copies with high accuracy. Okay, very accurate replication. Very accurate replication. Understood? It's a very accurate replication. Sharply 2 copies will come. The 2 copies will again multiply. 4 copies will come. Again multiply. 8 copies will come. It is very, very useful during cell division. Okay? It's very useful in cell division. Useful in cell division. When the cell divide, the chromosome also have to divide. In that case, DNA make copies and supply it to both cells coming from one parent cell. Are you clear? Right. Have you marked these details? Right. Next it is, where do we find DNA? Where do we find DNA? If you take a bacterial cell, okay, if you take a bacteria cell, here a bacteria cell, right? Look at this bacteria cell. Can you see the word nucleoid there? Nucleoids. It is a DNA. It is a DNA. Okay, it's a single DNA molecule. Can you see a word plasmid there? It is also DNA. So, in the hello, loyal muditangle. Right. Nucleoid DNA, it's also DNA. Plasmid DNA, it is also DNA. So, in how many forms DNA exists in a prokaryotic cell like bacteria? How many forms? 2 forms there. Okay. If you take a eukaryotic chromosome, that is a normal word, we call it by the name, but it chromosome. Okay. In chromosomes, I take this diagram. You can see DNA is wrapping around histones, proteins. Can you see? right? In the prokaryotic DNA, this protein part will be missing. In the prokaryotic DNA, the protein component is missing. Because the protein component is missing, it is called by the name naked DNA. Okay, so the prokaryotic DNA, first come to this idea. Okay, nucleoid is there and plasmid are there. Both are located in the, okay, both are located in the cytoplasm, right? Both of them are circular DNA. What kind of DNA? What kind of DNA? Circular DNA. Mark it down, mark it down. Circular DNA. So prokaryotic DNA are circular DNA. Right? Once you go for the circular DNA, in circular DNA, it will occur this way. If this is the case, can we identify, separate 3' ends and 5' ends? Tell me. 3' ends and 5' ends, can we identify? How, Tilausham? How can we identify, Tilausham? If it is a linear DNA molecule of this pattern, then this is a linear one, it's not circular. These unbonded ends are the ones we call 3' and 5'. Here the DNA molecule go in a cycle and join here. Is there any unbonded sides for the DNA? If there are any unbonded ends here in the DNA, when there is no unbonded portion, then how there will be 3', 5' will be there. Definitely anti-parallel nature will be there. That is something else. Okay? Anti-parallel nature will be there. I am not telling no. But identifying this is 5', this is 3', is that possible? Unbonded ends are the ones called, recognized by the 3', 5'. Okay. Now, let's go to mitochondria. You know mitochondria, right? You know mitochondria. Mitochondria have full detail in your syllabus. This is mitochondria. I'm just taking a single picture of mitochondria. In the mitochondria, see this DNA in the mitochondria. Linear DNA or circular DNA? Closed or open? Always will see the one and make decisions. Sudden decisions, okay, sometimes make you make a wrong decision. What kind of DNA? Zikra, what kind of DNA? Linear. Linear, you can see the free end of each strand. Zikra, you can see the free end of each strand. Then how do you say it is linear? Solution, can you see the free ends here? When you don't see the free ends, how it is going this way? It is going this way. It moves this way, come finally finished here. DNA is closing. So what kind of DNA is present inside the mitochondria? Mitochondria has circular DNA. Similarly, if you go for chloroplast, chloroplast also will contain DNA. Searching the right diagram is the challenge. Here also you have a DNA. It is also a circular DNA. Okay? But DNA in our nucleus, okay, it is linear DNA. Okay? It is linear DNA. Linear DNA mean not closing. Here the difference. It is too much complicated. So looking for a simple diagram. It's not easy to catch both of them. Right. I have shown you the this is linear DNA's arrangement. Can you understand it? Right. Here we have the free ends, open ends. And that open ends are missing in the circular DNA. In circular DNA, what happens? This end and this end, they close. Understood? Understood? Okay? So, chloroplast and mitochondria, they have what kind of DNA? They have what kind of DNA? Circular DNA. Mitochondria means circular DNA, chloroplast means circular DNA, nucleus means linear DNA. Put those details there. Are you clear? Are you clear? Okay, okay. So finishing the idea behind DNA. DNA, we come to RNA now. Compared to DNA, our knowledge on, your knowledge on RNA is less. You have certain idea regarding the DNA. But if you take RNA, I don't think that much idea you have regarding RNA. Okay? Here it is time to introduce you. Like DNA, RNA is also a nucleic acid. Okay? DNA is a polymer of deoxyribonucleotides, mean RNA is a polymer of ribonucleotides. Among the ribonucleotides, 4 nitrogen bases are possible: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil. No chance for thymine in the RNA. Normally single stranded. That means no double. No double. You know the meaning for the word double, right? 2 strands. No, no. It is normally single stranded. But there are options. Sometimes in certain viruses, it can be a double-stranded RNA. It has ribose sugar. DNA has deoxyribose sugar. Okay, in exam paper, it can be a comparison for you. Okay, we will write those comparisons. Okay, that's why I told you there are so many. Covering the syllabus is one part. There are so many things waiting to work on this. Okay, one side you are going to write essays, one side you are going to do weekly practices. Okay, one side short questions. Okay, in all the directions, the work will move. Okay, that is my pattern. The only thing you have to do is, okay, without thinking that just you are beginners, go ahead in the works. That is very, very important. Okay, this is the right time to get practiced all these things. Okay, after 6 months or 1 year time, okay, you will be having a bulk notes. Understood? Then you can't concentrate more on ribonucleic acid. Then you can't concentrate more on the ribonucleic acid. Keep in the mind. In the RNA, there are 3 types of RNA. Here, I have given a little bigger pictures. Are the pictures clear? The pictures I sent you? Yes. So this is mRNA. Remember, all RNA, whether it is mRNA or tRNA or rRNA, ribosomal RNA, whatever the RNA it is, mark this point here. Sometimes I would have marked already. Okay. I would have marked already. Okay. Right. But anyway, let's mark this point. Doesn't matter. All RNA, any RNA, all RNA are synthesized from DNA by transcription. So whatever the RNA it is synthesized from DNA by the process called transcription. Okay, if the transcription is not there, RNA cannot be made. RNA is not self-replicating. It cannot make its own copy. Okay, one RNA there, another 2 copies needed means RNA will not replicate. RNA, to make RNA, we need DNA. From DNA only, RNA will be manufactured. Same time, RNA was the first genetic material of first organisms on earth. Okay, so before DNA originated on this world, RNA originated. Okay, the first born bacteria in this world, it had RNA as its genetic material. Okay, same time, RNA can function as an enzyme. Okay, certain RNA molecules work as enzymes. They are called by the name ribozymes. Okay, so that's why in the beginning I told you, in one place I told you, most of the enzymes are proteins. Can you remember that word? Most of the enzymes are proteins. I didn't tell you all the enzymes are proteins. Some RNA can also be proteins. Sorry, enzymes. RNA can function as an enzyme. Please, these details, very important for the exam papers. Have you completed it? Good. In the RNA, there are 3 types of RNA. Messenger RNA is a linear molecule. It's a linear, straight molecule. This RNA, okay, it has 3 loops in it. Every portion here, it is called a loop. This is a loop. Like that, there are 3 loops there. Okay, but you can see it's a single molecule. It's a single molecule. In this RNA, you can see base pairing. Who is paired to whom? Adenine is paired to uracil. Guanine, as usual, paired to cytosine. Guanine, as usual, is a pair to cytosine. Adenine is paired to uracil because thymine is absent here. In that place only uracil is there. Okay, structurally uracil and thymine are very closer. And here you can see the 3' end and 5' end. in which end an amino acid is connected to tRNA? In which end an amino acid is connected to tRNA? Three prime end. Your syllabus explains tRNA structure as a three-looped structure. Do you agree with it? Your textbook explains tRNA is a three-looped structure. Do you agree with it? There are three loops in it. Your syllabus explains tRNA transports amino acids. Do you agree with it? tRNA transports amino acids. Yes, of course, tRNA transports amino acids. Okay. Some books describe tRNA structure, okay, matching it to the clover leaf. Okay, this is the structure of, this is the leaf called clover leaf. In the clover leaf also you can see there are three loops there. But actually some clover leaves have four. That is a problem. Okay. Nowadays that description is not there. But you can see certain clover leaves are coming same appearance to the tRNA. So sometimes in the past papers when you are going through, you will get that idea, it gets the shape of clover leaf, but not necessarily that one. And ribosomal RNA is a very complex structure. Actually, getting a picture of ribosomal RNA was very challenging. Okay, in the internet, once you search for ribosomal RNA, ribosomal RNA structure, you search for, you are getting this kind of pictures. This is not ribosomal RNA, it is ribosome they are showing. Okay, it doesn't matter, ribosomal RNA, you can see just an idea. You can see how much it is complex, the ribosomal RNA, how much it is bigger, the ribosomal RNA. So those things, you can just see this diagram. Okay. So, I have selected this diagram, a relatively a simple diagram, right? So, here I have written the comparison between messenger RNA, mRNA, tRNA, transfer RNA, ribosomal RNA, rRNA. Ribosomal RNA is called rRNA. When you are writing rRNA, it should be simple R, should be written in the front. Here, I have selected this diagram to explain you the contribution of all these three together. My children, here, before we go for the noting, note is not necessary. This is the DNA molecule. This is the DNA molecule. Understood? DNA molecule makes an mRNA molecule. This is an mRNA molecule. mRNA molecule comes out of the nucleus. Can you see that one? The mRNA molecule is made inside the nucleus. Here it is coming out of the nucleus. Okay. Now, this is the most important place. In this one, all the three RNA combine. Here, what is the RNA? What is the RNA this? Look at the diagram and tell me what is the RNA? The poly A cap. What is the RNA? Solution, what is the RNA? mRNA. mRNA. Okay. mRNA is bringing the nitrogen base sequence here. According to that sequence only, amino acids are connected. To bring the amino acid, this RNA is possible. This is amino acid. This is amino acid. If that is amino acid, what RNA is this? It is tRNA. It brings the amino acids. When amino acids come, you can see these ones are ribosomes. The RNA inside the ribosome. What RNA there? What is the RNA there between in the ribosome? That is called rRNA. That is the ribosomal RNA. So you can see here all the three RNA are meeting in this place. One side mRNA, one side tRNA, one side rRNA. All of them are meeting together here. Here, mRNA brings the nitrogen base sequence. With that one, its work is over. tRNA will bring the amino acids fitting with that nitrogen base sequence. With that one, its work is over. rRNA will develop the peptide bonds between the, okay, peptide bonds between the Farah joining now. Lesson is going to finish. Another 5 minutes they are to finish the lesson. Farah joins now. Sleeping. Okay. So, here is a very important lesson, Farah, today. I have recorded this lesson on behalf of Farah. I know you are absent, so I recorded it today. very important portion, not like the previous ones. So these are the peptide bonds, mature. So the peptide bonds are created by the rRNA. So with the combination contribution of combined contribution of mRNA, tRNA, rRNA, with all of their contributions, it is the protein get developed. Protein production is an output of all these three RNAs. One side mRNA, it brings the code. One side tRNA, it brings the amino acids. One side rRNA, it makes the peptide bond between the amino acids. Are you clear? Right. So could you please read this table? Could you please read this table and tell me whether everything is clear for you? Okay, messenger RNA, structure-wise, quantity-wise, size-wise, compared function is also done in the comparison. Okay, so with that one, we are completing today's lesson. Okay, and Faraha, send me your postal address, ma. I have the other three postal address. Shamna, she has sent me. Shamla Marzouk, Hamdi's postal address, right? Hamdi's postal address. Hamdi is receiving the tubes now by post. Yeah, delaying is Sri Lankan Postal Service. Okay, so Faraha, you have to send me your postal address. Okay. Others, inshallah, tomorrow I will post your materials, right? As I showed you, there are 5 pieces here. Faraha, this is showing you, this is your new next tube, cellular basis of life. I am keeping this material without stapling, okay, without stapling, because at the end of the tube, place 5 A4 sheets and staple it. Okay, Farha. Other people leave, the class is over. Understood, Farha? They are like that. There are 3 tubes here, ma. I'm sending you 3 tubes. This is 1 tube. Okay. This is 1 tube. This is your second tube, cellular basis of cell division. This is the metabolism and enzymes tube. Each of them place 5 papers and staple it. Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.